So, first session after lunch. Hopefully, you're not all in a food coma. So, thank you for coming to my talk. I know there's a lot of great sessions. It means a lot that you came to mine. So, what are we going to talk about here? It's going to be a little bit about an experiment. But before I kind of get started about recording and live streaming, my name is Joel Vassallo. I'm from GDG Chicago. For our international friends, that's in the Midwest of America, so Chicago, Illinois. So the talk is we'll do it live, talking about video recording and live streaming. But before we get to that, how did we kind of start? How did we start recording our meetups and sharing our content out there, right? It's an experiment. We just wanted to try it out and just let's see what happens. Let's see how it kind of works. So we all come to great conferences and summits, just as we are here today, right? This week, Google I/O. There's other ones like Cloud Next, other major conferences. The best part of it is being able to go to some of these sessions and obviously watch them, but also take that back and share that with your community, right? And that's something that we were trying to instill with our meetups and more importantly, our dev fests. We also were trying to solve for an issue of meetup venue space and potentially issues of people not being able to attend. So commonly, there's a lot of great venues in our city that may not be able to accommodate, 100 people or 75 people, right? So they're kind of at a disadvantage. But by recording our talk, it kind of gives you the ability to share that content after the fact if you couldn't make it, right? So we were off with some extra DevFest budget. DevFest is really tight. It's a lot of funding, sponsorship, right? Figuring all that out. We wanted to try to replicate something that we do on the side. So it's very similar if you're a YouTube gamer, you stream your content. We tried to do that for our video content as well, and I'll kind of elaborate that in a little bit. Before proceeding into the pros and cons, I do have to say that it is not without risks. There's a lot of risks that are involved with recording. I am not a professional videographer. I'm not a content editor. I'm not on YouTube, with a gold plate, whatever they get for 1 million views, right? This is something I do on the side, right? And me and my team do on the side. It could have been a potentially poor decision. $100 is in the DevFest scheme is a lot of things. That's T-shirts. That's extra food. You could have given that ticket away. You could have used that to fund a ticket for a student or someone that maybe could go and attend your meetup or conference. And as we all know, running a meetup is a lot of work. This is just something else to put on top of it, on top of coordinating food and all that stuff. So, we'll start with the pros. The pros, good and bad. I don't know. I was debating of doing bad and good, but let's start with the good and bad. So we'll start with the good. So recording your meetups, it kind of instills a kind of a pride and fulfillment, especially if you're a first-time speaker at your event. It gives something that not only people in the audience can walk away with, but also that your content presenter to walk away with, right? I've frequently found that a lot of our first-time speakers, they take their content, they put it on Facebook, like, look at me, I'm on stage and I'm talking, right? It's kind of cool, right? I'm cool. And it kind of gives you kind of that oomph, that feeling, and they feel happy, people in your community feel happy, everyone's just feeling happy, and feeling happy is a great thing. As a community leader running your events, seeing that, hey, someone spoke at that, it was recorded, right? I'm at that conference, and that conference talk is recorded. It's kind of like I don't like saying a sign of maturity, but it's showing that you are focused on the outreach of your community as well, right? Being able to watch some of these content, you may have an idea of what is in that community. You also may be able to take that and show that and say, like, hey, I'm a speaker, I went there and I spoke, and here I am. And the last one is actually pretty interesting. Some speakers, their opportunities at their current employers involve them going and speaking at these. They're actually required to some regard record it. And if you were just able to say, don't worry about that recorder you're going to put on the table. You don't have to prop up a camera in the back of the room. Just go up there, do your thing, rock out, and we'll have it for you later. It feels really great. So that's from the video recording perspective. But something that isn't immediately recognized is it allows you to grow a social presence, right? So you're able to take that video and then distribute it after the fact. So what do I mean by that? The first thing is a sense of collaboration, So when you have like a social media platform, you're able to then follow other groups, right? There's a lot of great meetups in your city, in your area. You're able to kind of build that extended relationship. Maybe a speaker from that meetup comes and speaks at your talk. Maybe you could retweet that and then grow their community as well. So kind of collaborating with other meetups. There's also the sense of engagement. Typically, when you follow people in your social circle, you can kind of see what they're talking about. You can have an idea of like, hey, they're talking a lot about Kotlin. Maybe I should have some more Kotlin speakers at my meetup. And maybe that's something I could redistribute, right? But I think the biggest one of using that content to share it is also the support cycle around it. So we all have those folks in DevRel or, wizards of the world that code. How cool is it when you like say, hey, look, I followed their tutorial at so-and-so, and they like it. You're like, whoo, this is awesome. This is dope. I'm doing something cool, and they actually think I'm doing something great. So try and build that sense of collaboration using your social media platform after the fact along with your video recording as well. With recording, though, the video at the end of the day it gives you just another means. Meetup usually ends, and that's it. With the video being on the internet and redistributing, you kind of have the ability to grow your community after the fact and have a kind of a discussion. That's the biggest takeaway from this. This slide, I was debating on putting it or not. So generally, the conflict of recording is the fear of, well, if I record, no one's going to show up to my meetup, right? People are going to just say, hey, I have the video. I just kind of wanted to put this, not as much of the numbers. The numbers don't mean anything. It's more or less showing that we still have growth. We didn't have a peak and valley where no one's showing up to our meetups. People are still coming. But advantage to this, we also grew our Twitter following as well. So we're at about 305 people following, liking our tweets, sharing our content, even if they're not actually at our meetups, which is great. So it's extending to their meetups. So a common example of this, we ran a WTM event. We tweeted about it, and WTM also retweeted it, right? So kind of building that community, and maybe not everyone could attend, but just getting the outreach of your events out there as well. Yeah, this one's actually really cool. So with video recording, you actually have an ability of, especially if you upload it to YouTube, it gives you an ability to track impressions, engagement, and traffic flows from Meetup to your video. And I'm going to show some examples of that. Use this data to your advantage. How are people finding out about my GDG chapter? Are they going from GitHub? Are they Googling Kotlin and they found our video? Are they, retweeting it or whatever? Use that data to your advantage and use that to kind of grow your community as well. So, some examples. From YouTube search, how did people find our meetup and our videos? Flutter, keyword. People saw Flutter. They saw one of our videos. Nitya came and presented at one of our dev fests, and it was great. So that people liked it and watched it. The most interesting one here is actually the external source. We're wondering how come a lot of views came to this video, and we saw GitHub. So we were like, I don't have a GitHub on our GDG. So it turns out someone took one of our GDG DevFest videos and put it onto a getting started with XYZ topic. Here, watch these 5 videos. And that was pretty cool. They're like, oh, we're in the community seems to like it, and people are watching it and obviously clicking to it. And some Dev2 and YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, stuff like that. And the other one too is kind of cool is how did people find, the last one is like, how did people find this specific video? So someone went to a Cloud Study Jam, maybe they wanted to go into an Intro to Kubernetes video that we also had on our page. So keeping those users in our community, extended community, watching our content, which is great because it builds your brand as a community leader. So this is all good. This was actually really cool. You can actually track your audience retention and see like, when do people stop watching? And if you kind of see there's a big sharp drop, it's always usually a very sharp drop, but at the beginning over there was a very big drop. And what's going on? Well, turns out there were some technical difficulties with the speaker's laptop. Some feedback was given around the setup, and we corrected the problem. But we were able to see why did people just all of a sudden stop watching? And we noticed there's someone in the video trying to re-plug in the laptop and, oh, hang on, let's try this, so people generally lose interest. The bottom one's actually cool, and I have permission to share it. So we got an alert, like one of these videos just peaked up. And I was like, whoa, how did someone just watch this video like so many times? This video in specific was one of our community members was going through a round of interviews, and the prospective employer saw the video, and after the fact, he asked to the person who hired him, he's like, "Did you see that video or something? Because we saw this big trend. It just happened to be the week of my interview." He's like, "Yeah, we saw the interview. You spoke very well, and we really loved it." So they kind of got a job out of one of our videos potentially, which is awesome. And that was like, yes. So that was pretty cool. All right, enough feel good. What's so bad about it? There's some bad parts of the recording too, right? So let's get to those. All right, elephant in the room. Yes, you could lose people in your day-to-day meetups, right? And this all depends on region, city, and community. In Chicago, we have almost 5,000 members. Very large community. 100 people could come to any meetup. If you're in a very small part of the world that may not have 100 people at every meetup, maybe 10 people, you might lose that sense of personal feeling when you're growing your community. Not every community got to that size, right? It was many years of crafting and building and growing that network and extending it out. So as you're growing your network, it may not make sense day one to kind of just say, hey, we're recording videos. And like I alluded to, it may not be everyone for getting started just for that fact alone. So kind of keep it in mind, and ultimately, it may make sense, it may not make sense. So take this and for whatever you will. Yes, work and responsibilities. So video recording. The phrase I always like to say is, there's no immediate reward for saying you're recording your videos, but there is now immediate work because you say you're recording your videos. What do I mean by that? So when setting up for your meetups, if you provide food or sodas, you have to worry about the catering. You have to worry about the venue. Do we have all the plugs that the new MacBook has, right? Every year they change these plugs on these laptops, right? On top of all that, and potentially audio as well, now you have to also worry about, is the camera okay? Is it too bright? Are the lights here now glimmering the fact that the slides aren't going to show up? Did the microphone stop working mid-presentation and now all the audio is lost? That is all work, and someone has to be actively maintaining it. Usually when the speaker is presenting, you're not recording, it's give them a mic, get a laptop, plug in a cable, I'm done. Now you have to kind of be active in your event and kind of making sure that all this is working up to spec. So again, no immediate reward, but immediate work. Even further than that, at the end of your meetup, you still have to potentially edit, distribute, and somehow share this content out there as well. So, and especially in DevFest, I know a lot of folks try to run multiple track DevFest. Make sure you share the load on that. 3 rooms running around is a lot. Trust me, because I've done it. And it's towards the end, you feel like you ran a marathon. So those are the 2 cons that I kind of got out of it. Again, I'm not an expert in the subject, but I hope that this spawns a conversation into this field, right? So what are some of the mistakes that we ran into and issues that we ran into along the way? All right. So live streaming and recording, right? There is a difference. There's a great talk later, I believe in this room, that is going to be covering a little bit more on the tips. I believe it's by Maxim Lin from Australia. He's going to be giving a great talk, so you should go check that out if you want to see a little bit more in-depth stuff. But live streaming versus recording. So live streaming, pro, you can extend to a big community. You can't fit everyone in this room. I see some people standing in the back. You could live stream it, watch it from anywhere else. You could watch it from the coffee shop. You could watch it from home. Con, it could reduce attendance at the actual live event. You get a message in the morning, FYI, we're also live streaming. It is really sunny outside. I don't know, maybe. And a con that was actually found out at a recent meetup, network connectivity. We all complain about conference Wi-Fi here and there, right? So you got to make sure that the Wi-Fi is up to snuff. And that's something that we've kind of found with a lot of our streaming setups. Every company's different. Some have very protected networks where you cannot use internet traffic. Consider that, right? And make sure, if you can't, try and test it if you can beforehand. A recording. So that's live streaming. That's publishing as I'm speaking. Pretend like right now what I'm going out to YouTube, right? Recording. After the fact, it'll be published. Pro, you have the ability to stay engaged, rewatch, and share the content with the community. You can take that content after you're done saying, hey, here is Susan presenting about so-and-so. It's on YouTube. Go watch it. It's available to you. Distribute it however you will. You can also operate without connectivity because you just put a camera or you set up some sort of network device or computer. But a con is eventually over time, as with anything, people may stop showing up. You know what? It's every Tuesday. I'll miss it. I'll show up later. No big deal. So for that, we try to kind of incentivize at the end. We ask we give away small giveaways. We give away little, provide food is a great way to get people in there. Food brings people together. So that's all good. Recording budget. I've alluded to this a few times. It's a multifaceted expense. It's expensive. When recording talks, there's professional services, such as the great people running this today. You can purchase your own equipment, or there's also time that you have to spend to edit it. So sometimes it's not only dollars, it's also time, and that could equate to dollars if you're one of those people. Think about the impact, right? CapEx versus OpEx. Do I keep paying someone to run this, or do I run this myself, but then that's an immediate cost every time I run it, right? I know maybe at the DevFest layer, when you have 30 some odd talks, nothing is better than just saying, okay, we'll pay for it, it'll be all done, they'll take care of it, and I can just focus on all the other things, badge pickups, swag giveaways, making sure people know where the bathrooms are, right? Things like that. Another thing to think about is you can actually use this to your advantage. Maybe not as wide out there, but you could put sponsor logos in your video slides. So commonly when you watch YouTube talks, you see presented by, and then it's some company logo. You can use that as a way to fund it. And then sometimes maybe even a carousel at the bottom of the video saying the company logo. You can use that as a sponsor package saying, hey, maybe you don't want a booth, maybe you don't want to give swag away. Maybe for $500 or $200, you can get your logos on maybe a third of the slides, right? Use that as something to your advantage. And really the biggest thing is just to make editing simple. Don't try to do too much. For me, I usually record the main content and just trim the beginning and the end to make it very easy on editing. There's a lot of involvement in terms of stitching video together, so make sure you take that into consideration as well. Something to do, and I'm not going to get too much into technical detail here, but improve over time. This is our phase 1 setup. Got a laptop. It has QuickTime on there. Record the slides. Put it up on YouTube. We're good, right? However, there's no video of me, right? The speaker, right? I'm not included. It's just kind of a voice of the slides. And it works, though. But it works. It works. You get the main message out there. What I'm presenting is recorded. It's out there. And the issue of the laptop comes into play. So we kind of evolved this setup here into using something like an externalized capture card. So using a small device such as this, you're able to take a video stream from a laptop and present it into two. It's essentially splitting the signal. One out to the slides here on the wall, and one out to a recording laptop that can actually do whatever you need to do. So this is not too crazy. It's just like what I have here. You plug in HDMI and you're good to go. This one's actually the most interesting. How does it look? The way I like to equate to it, this is using a tool called OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, and basically it's like setting a stage. You have multiple inputs and you kind of lay it to how you want. So for example, HDMI signal in coming from their laptop could be the slides right there. A webcam, that's what we use. It's cheap, $20, whatever. Put a webcam at the top, that's your bottom recording there. Hey, we want to advertise that this is from our conference, our Windy City Dev Fest. There it is. We want to make the background blue. And you know what? We want to have it in big letters here because we didn't get any sponsors this year. Put it in there and say Windy City Dev Fest. But that could be a spot where you potentially put a sponsor at the bottom instead of Windy City Dev Fest. So that was kind of like a whirlwind tour of what we do in recording. And if anyone wants to see this after, just come on and we could talk more about it. Something that isn't often talked about is the legality of recording. Always ask for permission. It's like with anything. Um, in addition to verbal permission, sometimes it's great to get written permission as well. Um, I don't know if many folks paid attention, but even before you walked into the building, there was a sign that said, understand that this is a recorded event. If you do not want to be recorded, do not enter this event, right? Just kind of have that understanding of, hey, we're going to have a camera in your face. We're not going to use it for anything bad. We're just using it to show that you are here and happy and eating food and talking and doing things, right? So when getting written permission, it's going to be important to not only get permission that you're recording them, but also get permission that you can record their content, but ultimately edit it and trim it, right? Being very clear, we are going to be editing the video to adjust audio levels, to adjust the beginning and end so we can cut down on the chatter before your meetup, right? No one wants to hear about how your dog is doing. Well, I always like about dogs, but that's a different thing. And then ultimately the biggest one, sharing the content. If you're presenting something that may be proprietary to a company, you're representing that company. And if the person says, I don't like that technology, and that gets out there and they link it back to your video, you are now in this circle of, ooh, that's like, all I did was share the video. I wanted to be a good community organizer. Make sure that what you are sharing, they have the ability to redistribute it, right? It's quite common too. It's in a lot of these big conferences too. And then, you know what? And if they say, no, you know what? I don't feel comfortable recording it, totally fine. Don't make a big deal of it. Like say, you can't present at my meetup anymore. No, it's fine. It's fine. This is just an example. I took it from one of the desks. This is the sign, right? Showing it doesn't have to be a big grandiose thing. It could just be something small like this. Just say, hey, just so you know, that's why we're doing it because we want to share it, and we may use your likeness and yeah. All right. And the last few things are be ready for the unexpected. You know, when you're running an event, how well do you know your venue? And I mean, let me just stress this: how well do you know that venue of yours? What type of projector are we using? It looks like we're using HDMI up to the screen here and up to some projector up there. What resolution is it? Is it 480p? Is it 1080p? Will my laptop as a speaker all of a sudden shrink to the size of like Windows 98 and I can't actually see my speaker notes? Things to consider. Are you going to output sound? What adapter do you need? This is a MacBook that uses USB-C. There's the old MacBook with the plug. Do you have all those adapters? What adapters does your projector need? We ran a dev fest. We walk in, we figured everyone was HDMI. It's 2019, right? It's crazy. Turns out they're using VGA. We don't have VGA adapters. So guess what? We had to run to like the closest convenience store and buy like a crud of these adapters and just load them up, right? So make sure you do dry runs. They're very important. And ultimately, too, is like, are the lights going to be on or off, right? We're not using the webcams in this room to record me. We're using a professional setup, obviously, so the lights don't really matter too much. But if you're using a camera pointing to the screen, remember how I said earlier, you have to make sure that like the lights aren't affecting the slides that you're recording and publishing out to the world. So, again, I'm not an expert in this subject. All I really hope that this draws is a conversation. It did spawn a great conversation at the NA Summit around video recording and building your community. So I offer a few links here. The top is the software that you briefly saw. It's Open Broadcast Studio. Apple has a great QuickTime player. That's what I used initially in phase 1. Microsoft it's a little bit embedded in their Xbox Windows 10 app to record screen. So it's a little clunky. Just go to that website and type in video recording. You'll get it, I promise. Furthermore, I got a lot of questions around what version of product did you buy? What hard drive did you use? I created an Amazon shopping list. I believe these slides are all going to be shared too because it's really tiny and I don't actually know if those are zeros or O's. Clickable links where I have a shopping list of everything I did. Unfortunately, it's localized to us here in America, so I don't know if the products may be available around the world. I see a lot of folks coming from around the world. And I have a work in progress resource guide. If we can collaborate and build this together, I would love to have like a global community driven, hey, what worked, what didn't? Maybe there's some ideas that are done in different parts of the world that, we can build and improve all our recording setups. So, with that, that's all I had for you folks. Thank you so much for coming to my talk. Yeah.